Resilience. The human capacity for burden is like bamboo, far more flexible than you'd ever believe at first glance. Jodi Picoult. Resilience implies being strong and snapping back in adversity. Indeed, the sapling that is battered in the wind develops marvelous fibers that strengthen it against future storms. So is resilience in one's own life. Whatever the experience, those who are resilient manage to roll with the punches and come back stronger for it. Resilience means embracing all life experience, even trauma, as part of the wisdom of living. The resilient are strong and do not crumble or dissolve into inaction at the mere specter of difficulties. Resolve. It's an unfortunate fact that I'm easily discouraged, but the fortunate truth is I'm stubborn as hell and near impossible to sway in my resolve. Richelle E. Goodrich. Be stubborn in seeking to reach your goals. Once you determine that your goals are worthy, do not let time or money or naysayers dissuade you. Your resolve is all that will matter in the end. Family will not, friends will not, even God will not. Resourcefulness. I don't think we are going to become extinct. We are very clever and extremely resourceful, and we will find ways of preserving ourselves. Of that I'm sure. David Attenborough. One of the defining characteristics of evolution is resourcefulness. The MacGyver syndrome allows man and beast to come up with solutions to thorny problems. The ape uses a twig to draw out a juicy worm to eat. The bird slashes the fish in its beak against the bough to kill it. Imagination and creativity are at play in finding answers. It is inventiveness that propels a culture forward, ingenuity that overcomes difficulties, initiative and wit that reveal possibilities. Responsibility. Character, the willingness to accept responsibility for one's own life, is the source from which self-respect springs. Joan Didion. How often do you blame your circumstances, your parents, your social status, your teachers, your birth order? What about your race or culture? Do you assign cause for your situation in life? If you are passed over for a promotion, do you blame the short-sightedness of management? Or perhaps even your own lack of talent as a cause? Or do you resolve to discover how you might enhance your chances in the future, and then proceed to implement those ideas? If you are overweight, do you blame your genes, your parents, or your overwrought life? Your life is your own. You are the master of its manifestation, the outcome of your many choices, and the direction it takes. You are in charge of all your choices, and if your choices are sound and expectant, your life will follow the path you set. Restraint. Among my most prized possessions are words I have never spoken. Orson Scott Card. Restraint is behavior that is characterized by self-control, the unemotional, dispassionate prudence in all things, especially where primal urges are concerned. Yielding to our longings may seem satisfying, but upon wise reflection, we generally find that restraint was the better choice. Restraint prevents us from speaking our mind impulsively, thereby risking the loss of friends, or worse, loss of face. It is restraint that guards our worth and self-esteem when confronted with temptation of any kind. Children enjoy the unabashedness of their youth. Their blunt, instinctive ways are charming and disarming. As adults, however, we must exercise moderation and keep our primitive drives in check. Righteousness. You cannot do wrong and feel right. It is impossible. Ezra Taft Benson. How many wrongs have been done in the name of righteousness? Crusades? The witch hunts of Salem? Indeed, even the jihad wars of present day. How many wars fought? From gang clashes to political challenges, somehow righteousness seems at the center of these flag-waving zealots. Even Hitler claimed righteousness. Is it time to let go and get off our moral high ground? Self-respect. They cannot take away our self-respect if we do not give it to them. Mahatma Gandhi. Value yourself. Honor yourself. You have your own talents and gifts. You are worthy. If someone you love no longer loves you, does that reflect on your value? No. Do you think your partner's judgment of you is correct? You are the best judge of who you are and who you want to be. Do not capitulate to others' opinions and desires for you. Listen to your heart. Be courageous in your endeavors. Pursue your dreams. As long as you follow your heart with integrity, with compassion toward those about you, and sensitivity to your environment, nothing and no one can diminish you. Sensitivity. And why is it, thought Laura, that my fate is to see everything and take it all so much to heart? Boris Pasternak. Sensitivity is hardly a weakness. Au contraire, sensitivity is the domain of those who feel deeply. Those who are truly compassionate cannot help but feel intensely. Empathy is not a dysfunction. Serenity. Life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. That only creates sorrow. Let reality be reality. Let things flow naturally forward in whatever way they like. Lao Tzu. Serenity lives as a calming lake. The birds that frequent it, the fish within it, the trees that surround it, and the mud that sustain it, all belong to the lake. Nothing is out of place. No storms in the night, no splashing children, no droughts or melting snows impede the flow of the water. It remains in stillness, even as it churns. It flows around the rocks and welcomes rain and snow. The wind may ruffle its surface, but the lake remains a yielding vessel. Silence. Have you ever heard the wonderful silence just before the dawn, or the quiet and calm just as a storm ends? Or perhaps you know the silence when you haven't the answer to a question you've been asked, or the hush of a country road at night, or the expectant pause of a room full of people when someone is just about to speak, or, most beautiful of all, the moment after the door closes and you're alone in the whole house. Each one is different, you know, and all very beautiful if you listen carefully. Norton Juster. Silence itself is a poignant form of communication. If you believe that people must constantly use words to express their feelings, try silence. Silence speaks volumes. It conveys understanding. It conveys empathy. It accepts mourning. It is humble in victory. It is meditative in chaos. It is conducive to deep concentration. It is a respite from fatigue. Sometimes silence is the only way to discipline a child. Let silence be your companion. Listen to its song.